process, like your age, education, physical, and mental disabling conditions. When it comes time to winning your disability case, you should not face a federal judge alone. You need an attorney who is experienced, determined, hardworking, knowledgeable, and dedicated to helping you win benefits that you deserve. If you need help with your SSI or disability case, call me, Donald Wayne McFarland, and let me go to work for you.
Nostalgic or historic or whatever you want to call that feeling you get when you walk in and sit down at the counter and get a scoop of ice cream or a hot dog with sauce while your hometown pharmacist gets your prescriptions ready. Whatever it is, it's still here at Frazier's Prater Drug. Only better, with everything from Jelly Bellies to fresh popcorn to hot and cold gourmet coffees, even hot fudge cakes and banana splits. Frazier's Prater Drug hasn't forgot how important the little things in life are, and they don't want you to either. Stop and see them. They're just a couple of doors down from another Salyersville gym, the Seasonal Shop. Before I go to last night's Salyersville City Council meeting, first a recap after Councilman Colin Ray Jackson used a racial slur during a conversation with a fellow council person in an October meeting of the Salyersville City Council. Mayor Pete Shepard called a special session of the council afterwards to weigh the continuing of Jackson's serving on the city council. Following the council's unanimous vote to proceed with misconduct charges against Jackson in that special session, another meeting was held last night for Jackson to address the council, defend himself, and for the council to consider voting him out or not, as is defined by Kentucky statute.
As the mayor stated, we're here because of the alleged misconduct of Councilman Jackson. The question before the council, and all of you have seen the statute, KRS 83A40. The question is, did the conduct of Councilman Jackson rise to the level of misconduct in the performance of the duties of his office? And that's language directly out of KRS 83A49, paragraph number 9, subsection number 9, whatever. So that's the question for the council. Once statements or testimony or whatever we have is presented to the council only will deliberate, and then you will come back in just as a normal, come out of executive session back in, and votes will be taken on the record on the issue of whether to remove Mr. Jackson. Mayor stated the issue before you is, did the racially offensive statement rise to the level of misconduct? Mayor, do you have anything else you want to add?
I would just like to say that in my dealings with this, the reason that we really are having this meeting because this allegation could cause repercussions for the city if it goes at least not some type of punishment. We have a lot of grant money. We have a lot of influence right now in Frankfurt and in Washington, D.C. And this could affect a lot of that we've worked so hard over the last 2 years to develop and get these connections and do the best for the city of Salyersville. I think our decision is what's best for the city, not what's best for individuals. And I just want you to go on and exactly when you do hear the testimony and all that, that you realize it's for the city of Salyersville, not for any one person.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Jackson, do you have any witnesses?
No witnesses.
Do you have any statements you want to make to the council?
I have some questions. First of all, I'd like to ask the mayor, he made that statement. Has anybody approached you or wrote you a letter or anything to that effect, that you could lose grants or anything?
Yes.
Could I see a copy of the letter?
I do not have letters, it's just general conversation.
Well, I object to that.
Okay, objections noted for the record.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Is a record being made of this hearing today?
You have a recorded record, and it looks like you have at least 3 what could be potentially video records.
Is video copy of the Salyersville City Council meeting conducted on Tuesday, October 18, 2021, excuse me, a part of the record? If not, ask that this be made part of the official record at this hearing.
We do not have Nobody's presented it as evidence, Colin. That is something that would need to be presented. So if you wanted to present it, you would have needed to got it and presented. I will ask the council, who I think all council members were present, to rely on their recollections of that meeting, because I believe all council members were present.
Number two, the charge. What specific with law or charges am I being charged with having violated? Law, statute, order, or city code am I being charged with having violated? Ask for a copy of that KRS 8380.40.
Okay, that is exactly what you are being charged with. You are being charged with violation of 83A.040, subparagraph number 9, and it states, and I'll read it in its entirety, except in cities of the first class, any elected officer in case of misconduct, which is what we're dealing with here, incapacity, willful neglect in the performance of the duties of his office, may be removed from office by unanimous vote of the members of the legislative body, exclusive of any member to be removed, which is, in this case would be you, who shall not vote in deliberation of his removal. No elected officer shall be removed without having been given the right to a full public hearing, which is what we're here on today. Their officer, if removed, shall have the right to appeal to the circuit court of the county, and the appeal shall be on record. No officer so removed shall be eligible to fill the office vacated before the expiration of the term to which originally elected. That is what you're being charged under.
Okay. I'd like to see a copy of the formal charge against me and who signed it and put it in the record.
I believe that was delivered to you the last meeting where we set this meeting.
I don't recall
That's what we had, the last meeting that we had where we set the public hearing, contained the formal charge.
that. Who charged me? The mayor? Or the judge executive Matt Warren, or all city council members?
It was
and
brought,
fiscal court?
it was brought on behalf of the city by the mayor.
Okay. I want that made part of the record. I want it in the record. I asked for a copy of the charge to be placed in the record.
That's fine, we can ask that a copy of that be placed with the official record.
Okay. Number three, could I please see a copy of the meaning or definition of misconduct?
There is no specific definition of misconduct under the statute.
If there's no violation of no law, then how am I being charged with misconduct?
The statute says misconduct. At this point, what misconduct is left up to the individual council members when they deliberate and in deciding that.
Could I please see a copy of the meaning or definition of misconduct?
Do not have one, as I told you, Colin. There is no specific definition either under the statute or, as far as I can tell, has been defined by the case law.
What does the League of Cities do?
The League of Cities told me exactly that I specifically, when this issue first came up, I specifically sent an email to the League of Cities Council and asked them if what you were being charged with or alleged, if that it rose to the level of misconduct. They called me the next morning, council, and advised me that there is no specific definition of misconduct. There is no great precedence for what we're proceeding under today. So we're in somewhat of uncharted waters here.
Territory.
Yeah.
Okay. Ask for a copy of the definition to be placed in the record.
There is, as I've stated, there is no specific
Okay.
definition to place on the record.
I cannot be charged with violation of law or statute charging me with having violated conduct that's not even defined and is void for vacancy.
That if in fact the council votes to remove you, that would be an argument you need to make to the circuit court.
I intend to do that. Okay. Do you want me to make my closing statement?
If you're ready to, yes.
Okay. While I regret what I said while talking personally with two council members, about a non-official private matter not being covered by official council business, any statement was not intended or directed to any one individual or group or in any way intended to harm anyone with an evil or wrongful intent or motive, nor was my remark made while conducting official business, simply an off-the-cuff remark I regret having made. Even criminal misconduct requires an intent to injure other person, and remark was not intended to harm anyone. Number 5, have we all here today said things we regret or would like to take back if given an opportunity, but said God in a manner or intent to harm or injure anyone when it was said? I am reminded of the verse in the Bible that without sin amongst ye, let him cast a stone. John chapter 8, verse 7. And I ask each of you in casting your vote to remove me here today, to review your own history and recall if any one of you ever regretfully used a word or a phrase that could be perceived by harming others that later regret having said and wish you could take it back. If you are truly blameless yourself, then you should vote to remove me here today, for only you are truly blameless and should be allowed to judge me to be removed from my duly elected office for non-official and non-intentional off-the-cuff remark under a statute that is void for Vegas and hereby deprive the voters of their vote for having elected me. And I thank the council for allowing me to present my case.
With no other comments being made after Jackson, City Attorney Lovely was asked by Councilman Paul Montgomery what exactly the options were before the City Council, with Lovely advising the council that statute says after going into executive session for discussion, they must come out and either vote to remove, vote not to remove, or that they can abstain, with an abstention vote essentially being a vote to remove, and that the vote had to be unanimous to remove a councilman. And with that in mind, the council, minus Colin Ray Jackson, Mayor Shepherd, and the city attorney, went into executive session. Before executive session ended, however, and without the audience knowing exactly what was happening, Councilman Tex Holbrook came back into the meeting room and retrieved what we later learned to be a prepared letter of resignation from his desk and tendered it to the mayor, leaving the remaining 4 council persons to vote after the meeting was called back to order.
Before we go to the vote, I will read this. We have, once again, a twist in procedures and what we're doing here. Herbert Tex Holbrook has tendered his resignation as position as city councilman for the city of Sayersville, effective immediately. So he tendered that to the mayor, not to me. So we will still proceed with the hearing and proceed to a roll call vote. What this means is just one less councilman voting. I told Councilman Jackson, I did ask the League of Cities this question too, what if one of the councilmen resigned? And they told me in no uncertain terms, that just means that the mayor has a seat to fill. So that doesn't affect proceedings of what we're here today. So we will proceed with the vote of the remaining council members. So with that, I'll start with Jared on the roll call vote. The vote is to remove or not to remove from office of Councilman Jackson. Jared?
Remove.
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 So that will be a unanimous vote for removal of Councilman Jackson from his position as city councilman. Anyone got any questions before we move to adjourn? Councilman Jackson, as the statute says, excuse me, Mr. Jackson, as the statute says, you have a right to appeal this to the McGoffin Circuit Court, and that will be your next legal recourse if you so desire.
That will be my next recourse.
Okay. Have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
And that, as you heard, leaves not one but two vacancies on the Sayersville City Council. In lieu of today being Veterans Day, we will later talk with the mayor and others about their thoughts and about the process as to how that is going to happen and about the removal of Jackson himself. With that said, I'll be right back.
Appalachian Wireless and Samsung introduced a smartphone that everyone is flipping over, the Z Flip 3. Looking for something that stands out in the crowd amongst regular smartphones? Then the Z Flip 3 is the device for you. On the region's best service, Appalachian Wireless, the Z Flip 3 is an actual flip phone that, when opened, reveals a stunning 6.7-inch touchscreen for the best of both worlds. It's compact, powerful, and the most unique smartphone in the world. Get more information at AppalachianWireless.com. We are you. We are Appalachian Wireless.
If this doesn't get your motor running, you need a new motor. JJ's Burgers and Beer is now serving breakfast and burgers. 99-cent breakfast sandwiches, BLTs, platters starting at $3.99 with sausage, bacon, chicken, pork tenderloin, or bologna. Oh my goodness. And it's all just as over-the-top tasty as their gourmet-style burgers, wings, and pizza. And you can have it all, breakfast or lunch, anytime, Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. That's breakfast and lunch all day. Dine in, drive through, and fuel up your other motor before you leave. JJ's Burgers and Beer at Speedy's in Sayersville. Seasons are changing. Don't get caught in the cold. Call McGoffin County Heating and Cooling now. They have super affordable rates. They service all brands. They are a certified Platinum American Standard dealer and installer, and available with 24-hour service at 349-1058. At Sayersville National Bank, they know your house is much more than your home. It's an investment, and for many of us, the biggest we'll ever make. And whether it's for needed repairs and maintenance, or a new addition or renovation to give you some more room and more equity, let Sayersville National Bank deal with all the financial work and worry. Real and real competitive, hometown, homegrown, home improvement loans at Sayersville National. Per the pandemic, Veterans Day is one of the many things that has taken on a whole new format. Not able to go into the schools as they have been doing for so many years recently. Our local chapter of the DAV, Chapter 15 here of McGoffin County, held their Veterans Ceremony this morning at the 11th hour on the 11th in the Ramey Park.
Standing over here and to my left and on the wall behind me are McGoffin County's comrades and our military comrades. And surely they all have had or have a story of when I was in the service. And I don't know about you all, but when I was growing up, I loved hearing these stories. And I wanted to have my stories, my own stories. And that's one of the reasons that I joined the service. I'm a believer in institutional knowledge. And what that means is we've got to know how we got where we are. Because without having those things, we're never going to be able to ensure that we honor our ancestors and how they fought for our freedoms. And that's the only way that we can continue our sense of pride as a community and a nation. All veterans do have stories, and don't let them tell you they don't. Because every one of the veterans that's on this wall, and every one of these guys standing around here have got a ribbon on their chest. And every one of those ribbons tell a story. And their individual sacrifices and stories are the reasons that we have Veterans Day. And that is why every day, when you recognize an active duty service member or a veteran, that you sincerely say, thank you for your service.
And when you do thank them for their service, ask them to share one of their stories. Because as numbers continue to confirm, the window is growing much more narrow to hear those stories from those veterans. As the majority of our veterans are becoming older, while about 2 million of the nearly 20 million United States veterans are women, the majority of all are over 65.
There are 19.5 million veterans in the United States, according to most recent statistics available. Fact 3, more than 19 million veterans are over the age of 65.
And that's why it's time to talk to a veteran and hear some of their stories. Sure, some have stories that they don't want to share, that they don't want to relive. But talk to a veteran, you'll find a story that they want to share, maybe about combat, maybe about their duties, maybe about coming home, maybe about leaving home and getting on an airplane for the first time in their lives.
Well, the most memorable for me was whenever I joined, me and an old boy from Webster Spring, West Virginia, Hutchinson. We was going, they was flying us over. And the first plane we got on there at Fort Dix, New Jersey, never even made it off the ground. So they kept us that night. Next day they put us on another one. And it was a private plane. We was flying, they said, over Canada, and it was dark. And I looked out there, and we was sitting there close to I guess it was exhaust. And I told that stewardess on there, I said, hey, my opinion, this plane is on fire. Because the exhaust was so red and just bloomed everywhere. And Hutch said, I believe you're right. And she said, I'll tell you what that is, says that's the exhaust. So I just shut up. We both felt like fools then. Went and made our trip on to Italy.
And it's not just that we're losing our opportunity to talk to veterans, to hear stories like Paul's. It's that our local DAV is as well losing members. In a little more than a year, active members. Of course, Henry Joseph, gone last Veterans Day, but as well since Barry Owens, Johnny Carpenter, Bill Cottle, Ernie Kelly, all active members of the DAV, as our DAV also recognizes that they have a fellow veteran in the funeral home at this hour.
Yes, it is. We have few young veterans today because of the voluntary service of America now. There's no draft, and veterans are dwindling at a very fast pace. We have a lot of people that's interested, but we really need to get some young recruits in because we're all getting old. Our oldest member, active member, is 82 years old, and the youngest one's 55. So we're getting pretty old, all of us are. And we want to keep this organization going because it's a good thing. It's good for the county, it's good for America, and we just want to keep everything going. We appreciate any young veteran that be interested to contact us. We would make it easy to join, and we sure do need you.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And again, I'm foregoing the weather, the calendar, and all other news tonight to bring you the following two presentations. One being from our Gifted and Talented program, where they were going to recognize our veterans today within the uncertainty of the pandemic. In-person school, of course, in 2020 made it nearly impossible for them to put together their customary programs to honor our veterans as they have done over the last few years. I'm told by Jerica Conley, who is our Gifted and Talented coordinator, that they were absolutely not going to let that happen again. So the Gifted and Talented program has put together the following virtual Veterans Day presentation to honor our veterans and fallen veterans, and while broadcasting at the same time the skills and talents of our students in all 5 Magoffin County's schools. The Gifted and Talented program locally is made up of students from all of our schools, and they have been identified as being gifted in areas of general intelligence, creativity, leadership, specific academic areas, and or visual and performing arts. They hope you enjoy this program, and they wish to thank again our veterans. Immediately following that, a special presentation from the Harold Whitaker Middle School.
Welcome to the 2021 Gifted and Talented Virtual Veterans Day program. We are so thankful for each and every veteran, and we just want you to know just how appreciated you are.
Our Gifted and Talented program is made up from students from all schools in our district.
Students are identified in the areas of creativity, general intelligence, specific academic areas of language arts, math, science, and social studies, or visual, performing arts, art, dance, drama, and music.
We have put together a few different presentations that show our respect for Veterans Day and that exhibit our talents as well. Sit back and enjoy. Happy Veterans Day.
First, we will join together in saying the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Grady Cole.
My name is Grady Cole, and I'll be leading you in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we will have the national anthem performed by Aaron Grace Rudd.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please enjoy as MCHS sophomores Bella Dunn and McKenna Caldwell recite two beautiful Veterans Day poems.
If someone has done service in the military, they earn the title of veteran, plus some. They earn our deep respect and admiration. They are special, and no one can ignore that. They sacrificed for the comforts that we enjoy. The list is long of all the things that they gave. Our veterans are extraordinary people. They're loyal, dedicated, brave, and true. When terror and invasion were real threats, they showed us that they could handle any storm. We owe our freedoms and our very own lives to our veterans who served in uniform. Our veterans should be celebrities. They're exceptional, and no other group compares. We're grateful for the many things that veterans have done for us. They are always in our hearts and prayers, and we owe them our respect, friendships, and support. Let no one ever question their worth. These men and women served our country, and for our veterans, they are the very best on earth. And I personally believe that one day is not enough to celebrate our veterans. They are the most brave, strong people on earth, and we should always respect them. Thank you.
Today is the day we honor the noble and the brave, the men and women who dedicated their lives and the sacrifices that they have made. When America had an urgent need, they were the first to raise their hand. Without thinking twice about it, they were proud to take a stand. Some came back from war with battle scars, others in flag-draped coffins. Even though their flesh may have left, their spirits will never be forgotten. They unselfishly and knowingly put their lives on the line. So when you see a veteran, thank them, because without them, freedom would have died.
Tomorrow all the things were gone, work for all my life, and I had to start again, with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars, living here today, as the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'd gladly stand up next to you when they get cursed today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Next, Abby Barnett will briefly discuss the history of Veterans Day and why it is such a respected holiday.
We celebrate Veterans Day on the anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. The armistice that began on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The entire world celebrated. The armistice was signed declaring the war to end all wars was finally over. The next year, on November 11th, the U.S. called the day Armistice Day in memory of all the men and women involved in World War I. On Armistice Day, the surviving soldiers marched in parades throughout their hometowns. Politicians and veteran officers gave speeches and had ceremonies in thanks for the peace that had been won. In 1954, the name was changed to Veterans Day, a day to honor all American veterans of all wars. The imagination plays a trick. We see the soldiers who died at war in our mind as old and wise, but most of them were boys when they died. They gave up two lives, the one that they were living and the one that they could have lived. Strengthened by their courage, hardened by their value, and marred by their memory, let us continue to stand for the ideas for which they lived and died. Thank you, veterans.
Up next, we will have the McLaughlin County High School Band led by their director, Mr. Austin Pierce, playing America the Beautiful. In memory of another hometown hero, Avery Preston will now tell us about the late Todd Preston and the legacy he has left our town with.
Roy Jack Todd Preston was born June 1st, 1928 on Match Fork, Kentucky. He was one of 10 children. Out of all his siblings, he and 3 brothers were in the armed services. He was enlisted from October 18, 1946 to March 11, 1948. He was private first class, and during his Army tenure, he received a Marksman Rifle M1 and a World War II Victory Medal. He was assigned to the Quartermaster's Corps in Camp Lee and took cooking and baker training and the advanced training on AP Hill under combat conditions. He loved this training, and for years after he was discharged, he used to carry the can opener he used on his keychain. While in the Army, he earned the nickname Old Kentuck and became the squad leader after he led the squad back to the camp because his leader couldn't read the compass. Preston traveled all over while in the Army. In San Francisco, California, him and his buddy David Allen explored the bars, but they never drank anything stronger than 7-Up. He traveled to Seattle, Washington, where people reminded him of home. Finally, he settled at Anchorage, Alaska, where he spent the remainder of his enlistment. He was a temporary mess sergeant before he became the diet cook in hospitalization. He was responsible for cooking diet foods, taking them to patients, and recording how many grams patients ate. One of his most memorable moments from the Army was meeting General Dwight Eisenhower. He was discharged in Great Falls, Montana, where he traveled home to Sayersville on a Greyhound bus. He married Phyllis Joy Prater on September 2, 1950. They had 5 children and 7 grandchildren. My great-grandfather passed away on June 9th, a great legacy for his family and community. Thank you for your service, and happy Veterans Day.
Hello, my name is Braden Wyerman. I'm an 8th grade student at Harold Whittaker Middle School, and today I just want to thank all the veterans who served in the military, because you're the people who made this country as free and as great as it is. Thanks for your service.
We hope you are enjoying our Veterans Day program. We have a few more presentations in honor of your dedication, service, and leadership for our country.
In remembrance of one of our very own hometown heroes, we'll have Chloe Helton, the granddaughter of the late Henry Joseph,
share with us a bit of his life and service.
My name is Chloe Hilton, and today I'm going to say a few words on behalf of my late grandfather, Henry Joseph. My grandfather enlisted in the United States Army in April of 1957. He served abroad in Germany, Korea, Vietnam, and Turkey. Specialist Joseph's duties were in the communication fields. He would set up radios and run wires through the fields for communication. Along with serving abroad, Joseph was stationed at various bases among the U.S., one of his favorites being the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. My grandfather was very proud of his country and felt very strongly about teaching his family the importance of loving and respecting the country he so bravely fought for. Thank you.
Singing God Bless the USA, we will now have MCHS senior Jackie Beth Barnett.
God bless America, the land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. To the mountains, to the prairies, to the ocean, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you, Vaden, for our service. Happy Veterans Day.
Please welcome the MCHS band once again performing My Country 'Tis of Thee.
Another one of our hometown heroes, we will have Catherine Allen to speak about her late uncle, Ricky Keaton.
Hi, my name is Catherine Allen, and today I'll be talking about my uncle, Ricky Keaton, who was a U.S. veteran. Ricky Keaton was born in eastern Kentucky on May 2nd, 1951. He joined the U.S. Army on May 2nd, 1971. Shortly after enlisting, he was deployed to Germany. When Ricky reflected on his time in Germany, he always spoke of the kindness shown to him and his wife by the citizens of the German towns they visited. He served his country for 2 years with dignity and honor. Ricky sadly departed us on July 1st, 2021, after a dreadful battle with cancer, leaving behind his wife Connie Keaton, his 2 daughters Savannah and Jennifer, and Savannah and her husband Timmy's 2 sons Hunter and Brody Nichols. I am proud to call this man my uncle. He loved his country and believed in bettering our nation. We honor him today for the sacrifices he made and the lives he changed. Thank you for listening.
2 days past 18, he was waiting for the bus in his army green, sat down in a booth at a cafe there, gave his order to the girl with a bow in her hair. He's a little shy, so she gives him a smile, and he said, would you mind sitting down for a while and talk to me? I'm feeling a little low. He said, I'm off in the now, and I know where we can go. So they went down and they sat on the beer. He said, I bet you got a boyfriend, but I don't care. I got no more to send letters to. Would you mind if I sent a woman back here to you? I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy. Too young for him, they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again, never more to be alone. When the letter said the soldier's coming home. So the letters came from an army camp to California, then Vietnam, and he told her of his heart. It might be loved and all of the things he was so scared of. He said, when it's getting kinda rough over here, I think of that day sitting down on the pier, and I close my eyes and see your pretty smile. Don't you worry, but I won't be able to ride for a while. I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy. Too young for him, they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again, never more to be alone. When the letter said the soldier's coming home. On Friday night at a football game, the Lord's Prayer said in the anthem sang, the man said, folks, would you bow your head for this a vocal Vietnam dead? Alone under the sands was a piccolo player in the marching band, and nobody really cared. But a penny with a girl with a bow in her hair. I cried, never gonna hold a hand of another guy. Too young for him, they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for a soldier to come back again, never more to be alone. And the letter said the soldier's coming home.
Harry Jack Powers. Harry Jack Powers served in the Army from 1953 through 1956. After he served, he went to work at Ashland Oil. He retired after 58 years of hard work. He was also a part of the DAV Chapter 15. Sadly, he passed away when he was 83 years old. Written by Kaylin Arnett, 5th grade SGS.
We would now like to share with you some special footage of an experience our gifted and talented students have loved participating in. The following students were given the opportunity to interview and interact with local veterans. Please enjoy.
Hello, my name is Macy Williams, and I'm going to be interviewing Clyde Reed. What branch of the military did you serve in?
The Army.
What places were you stationed at?
I started out in Fort Dix, New Jersey, then went to Fort Sam Houston in Texas, then Butzbach, Germany, and then back to Fort Sam Houston in Texas.
How long did you serve?
6 years, 4 months, and 11 days.
Did you fight in any wars? If so, what war did you serve in and how long?
Desert Storm. It was in 1991 for about 6 months.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, I'm here today with
Matt Wireman.
And today I'm going to ask some questions about Veterans Day. So which branch of the military did you serve in?
served in 3 years regular Army and a year and 3 months on Kentucky National Guard.
What impacted your decision to serve?
Well, I went 2 years to college, and at that time things was a little tight. And I talked to my parents, and in order to finish college, I joined the Army to go ahead and get GI Bill so I could finish my final 2 years.
Do you have any advice for younger generations?
I think that those that want to go to the military need to go to the military. It's a great thing. I've always said that if you go into the military and it don't make a man or a woman out of you, you'll never be one. And I think there's a lot of youth in this community that it would give them a future. My dad went in the Army and was a military police, came out as Kentucky State Police and the local sheriff. I went in, I was Army finance. I got out, got an accounting degree, and accounting and being a finance officer, what I've done for 20 some years, and now, and it creates, it makes leaders. Being in the military will make you a leader, and that's what we need in our community to help us grow.
Well, thank you for your time.
This is Brent Gullett. I'm a U.S. Army veteran of 8 years.
What years did you serve in the military?
May of 2004 to May of 2012.
Why did you choose the Army?
I felt it was a calling, the direction that the Lord wanted me to take me to.
Where have you been while serving?
I've been on 4 different continents and 12 different countries. Been to Iraq, Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, numerous places in Europe and Venezuela.
Finally, how has the military impacted your life?
Well, it's led me to meet people all over the world, other countries, to see other lifestyles, how people's been raised, and you're just thankful from where you came from when you see how other people are raised, and just meeting friends, just get to know people.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, so can you tell us what your name is?
My name is Jerry Newman.
And what branch of the military did you serve?
Served in the United States Army.
United States Army. How long did you serve?
Well, almost 20 years. Liked a little bit being 20 years altogether.
Awesome. Where were you stationed at? Were you stationed in any unique places?
Well, I was 2 tours of Vietnam, in Fort Hood, Texas, Fort Sill, Oklahoma, Nome, Alaska once, several other places here in the States. But
awesome. Now, do you have any interesting stories or any advice that you want to give the younger generation?
Well, the advice I'd give them is to love their parents with all their heart and soul, because when you ain't got them, you ain't got them. But another thing is to honor your country and love your country, because it's took pretty good care of us, and we should take pretty good care of it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Today I'm here with my dad, Nathan Gasparic, and I'm going to ask him some questions about the military. When were you drafted or enlisted?
I was enlisted in 1998, June the 24th.
Okay. How long did you serve?
From 98 to 2006, so you're looking at roughly 8.5 years.
Okay. What branch did you serve in?
Regular Army and Reserves.
Okay. Where did you sleep?
Different places, depending on the situation. Sometimes I slept in the field on rocks. Sometimes I slept in leaves. Sometimes I slept in beds. And just wherever.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add or a story you'd like to tell? Okay.
When did you enlist in the military?
1958, September of 1958.
What branch of the military did you serve in?
I can't hear you now. You ain't loud.
What branch of the military did you serve in?
U.S. Army.
Right.
And Engineer Corps. Combat Engineers.
Where was you stationed?
Well, first I stayed in Fort Knox, down in Kentucky. Then I was sent to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. From there to Camp McCoy, Wisconsin. Then from Camp McCoy, Wisconsin, back to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And from there to Fort Dix, New Jersey. And from there to Frankfurt, Germany.
Did you receive any injuries while in the Army? Did you receive any injuries while in the Army?
I still can't hear you.
Oh. Did you receive any injuries in the Army?
No. Well, had nothing that mounted anything. Got frostbite a little bit, and it's so cold over there on the Czechoslovakian border. Russians tanks going up and down one side, and when we was on the other side. It's cold in the wintertime over there. It gets cold in Europe, plumb cold.
So while you were in the military, what was your greatest, like, what do you think was your greatest accomplishment while you were in the military? Like, what do you think you accomplished?
I accomplished quite a bit. I got to see the world. And then what I done when I got to, over in Germany, I looked out. The company commander's Jeep driver was getting out of service. He had his time in, and they was looking for a Jeep driver. And we had an old Jeep. These fellows from I used to run around and help them move trash out of these hills. And I learned how to drive them when I was real young. And I got my Army license down at Fort Leonard Wood. And then when a captain had a bunch fall out that had license, Army license, to fall out and see if he looking for a Jeep driver. Well, I had him skunked, because I'd been driving one for a long time, and he picked me. So for 2 years over there, what I done, I drove the company commander, drove Jeep.
So when did you return home from the military?
September '61, three days before I got out, 3 days early.
I'm here today with
Wayne Mead.
Tell us a little about your experience in the military.
Well, I went in the military when I was a junior in high school, and I dropped out. Went in the military. My dad had to co-sign for me to get in, and I went in with a couple of friends, and we took our training at Fort Knox, Kentucky. Took our basic training. I was 17 years old, and I went several different places while I was in the military. But I got out in '63, December of '63.
And what branch did you serve in?
I was in the U.S. Army.
Why did you serve in the military?
Well, it was just the thing at that time, kind of a growing up thing. Becoming a man, I guess. Becoming independent, make my own decisions, I thought. I found out the sergeant made most of them for me. But yeah, it was a growing up process. And it was very, very beneficial for me. It made impressions on my life that last still yet today. So it was a very positive experience for me.
All right, thank you for your time, Lincoln.
To our men and women in uniform, past, present, and future, God bless you and thank you.
Please welcome Erin Rudd back once more as she plays and sings an American Red.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesties above the fruited plain, from the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, where there is pride in every American
free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, veterans, for your service and dedication to our country.
We would now like to welcome our MCHS band performing one last time, Born in the USA.
Thank you, MCHS Band. As we end our program, please stay tuned to view some artwork our gifted and talented students have created in honor for our veterans. We hope you have enjoyed our program. Once again, we want you to know that we appreciate and are very grateful for your service and dedication to our country. Thank you, veterans. Happy Veterans Day.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
I walked through a county courthouse square. On a park bench, an old man was sitting there. I said, "Your old courthouse is kind of run down." He said, "No, it'll do for our little town." I said, "Your old flagpole has leaned a little bit, and that's a ragged old flag you got hanging on it." He said, "Have a seat," and I sat down. "Is this the first time you've been to our little town?" I said, "I think it is." He said, "I don't like to brag, but we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag. You see, we got a little hole on the flag there when Washington took it across the Delaware. And when it got powder burned, the night Francis Scott Key sat watching it, writing so you could see. And it got a bad rip in New Orleans, with Pakenham and Jackson tugging at its seams. And it almost fell at the Alamo beside the Texas flag, but she waved on though. She got cut with a short sword at Chancellorsville, and she got cut again at Shiloh Hill. There was Robert E. Lee, Beauregard, and Bragg, and the south wind blew hard in that ragged old flag.
On the Flanders field in World War I, she got a big hole from a Bertha gun. She turned blood red in World War II. She hung a limp and low in Tom II. She was in Korea and Vietnam. She went there. She was sent by Uncle Sam. She waved from her ships upon the briny foam, and now they've been quit waving her back there here at home. In her own good land, she's been abused. She's been burned, dishonored, denied, and refused. And the government for which she stands is scandalized throughout the land. And she's getting their bread and wearing thin, but she's in good shape for the shape she's in, because she's been through the fire before, and I believe she can take a whole lot more. So we raise up her every morning. We take her down every night. We don't let her touch the ground, and we fold her up right. On second thought, I do like to brag, because I'm mighty proud of that ragged old flag.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died and gave that right to me. I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to sounding sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died and gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died and gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the
Now I'll lay me down to sleep, and hope my dreams are thoughtful and deep. I
prayed at night and am not awakened by bombs exploding and the ground shaking. I hope that I can get some peaceful rest, and I wish that the next day will be blessed. All I want is to sleep through the night, so that tomorrow I'm ready for another fight. I pray my dreams are of my family, as I make sacrifices to keep them free. May you watch over and keep them safe, as they await for me and remain brave. Dear Lord, please listen as I pray to you, and proudly defend the red, white, and blue. I will always serve you and my country, and be the best person that I can be. May it be a peaceful night without a sound, with no shots or bullets flying around. As I lay and dream of back home again, I'll unfold my hands after I say amen.
Oh, so can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Oh, beautiful for spacious sky, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesties above the fruited plain, from the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, God bless America, land that I love. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, from sea to shining sea. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. And the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Freedom is such a simple word. Freedom, 2 syllables. However, this word is not so simple. Actually, it came at a price many of us can never repay. You may ask, how is it possible for a word to cost anything? What would you say if I told you that the price of freedom was not monetary, but was paid for with the lives of thousands of men and women? What would you say if I told you that the word freedom wasn't really a word at all, but a privilege more than all the gold in the world? And finally, what would you say if I told you that this freedom is the very reason you sit before me to hear my words today? You see, the ladies and gentlemen seated before you are the very reason you have the opportunities that are set before you on a daily basis. These ladies and gentlemen have done more than just leave the family, go through rigorous basic training, been terrified of deployment, but they have voluntarily bestowed upon us the honor of offering their life to ensure ours. You see, each individual seated before you is more than just someone who once fought in a war at some point. They are more than a man or woman with an awesome medal. They're the heroes who sacrificed everything so that we could have everything. So today, as we sit in this auditorium, the staff and students of Harold Whitaker Middle School would like to say thank you for more than just your service. Thank you for risking everything. Thank you for ensuring that every morning we wake up in a country free to choose and free of war. Thank you for making sure we are able to open our eyes without fear and encroachment from other entities. Most of all, thank you for the gift of freedom, because we know that this freedom came at a great cost to you, your family, dearest friends, and our country. John 15:13 says, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend." So more than anything, thank you for loving your country even more than you love yourself.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on me and crowned our good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes in liberating strife, who more than self, country love, and mercy more than life. America, America, God shed His grace on me and crowned our good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
And with that, time to say nothing more than, again, happy Veterans Day. Thank you to all who have served, as we honor those who have, and as well those, of course, who paid the ultimate sacrifice. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.